Welcome to the Bombad Cast. What is up, Bombad people? How are you doing today? How are you doing this week? Guys, we've been gone for a while, although, some of you might have showed up for our live stream last week, but if you haven't, that's okay. But here we are. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. It's just me, your boy, the Canon Junkie, hanging out with the one, the only, the guy who keeps threatening to cut my eyelids off for some weird reason that I'm sort of freaked out about, Scotty Jero. What's up, Scotty?
I am the Razor Crest King, the Def Leppard of Star Wars podcasting. I am here. I am ready. And you know what, Jerry? I'm doing pretty good. We got someone special in the show for once. We got a very special person. Last episode, we had Brad Whipple. We had my cousin Troy on. We had a bunch of people on these past couple of months, but we got someone that means who is very near and dear to my heart. I'm referring to the one, the only. There's so many one and onlys right now.
I was going to say.
The one and only John Hoey from the Resistance Broadcast.
Hey, fellas. Thanks so much for having me. Actually, you can't say the one and only because my dad is John Hoey and my son is John Hoey. So.
Oh, wait. You're a junior?
I'm a fourth. My son is the fifth. Yes.
So he's going to be a Quinn. He's going to be Quinn Hoey.
Yeah, so he's J5, and I'll leave it up to him to break the chain. I just couldn't do it. I was like, too much pressure. Right. I can't do that.
Wow, that is a lot of pressure.
I was going to name my son Sheev, but I heard bad things. So
It's kind of like a Darth situation with the Sith. You still have to have that moniker Darth and stuff.
Yes, right.
The last name too. So I don't know.
Right.
Wow.
Which, by the way, I love that Obi-Wan Kenobi, like in retrospect, would like refer to Vader as Darth. That's almost like now, like my headcanon is that he does it mockingly. He's like, only a master evil, Darth.
Well, because he says it. He also says it in a very weird way. He wouldn't say it like he doesn't. I don't know. The way it's phrased is kind of strange. He's like, Master of Evil, Darth. It's like
exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely like put that so you can do that. But it's so funny because back then it was just like, it's just his name.
His name is Darth Vader. Yeah.
Kylo Ren. Whatever.
Like his mom named him Darth. That's what it was to George Lucas back then. Like
this guy looks like a Darth.
And then 3 years later, he's like, you know what? Never mind. He's going to be our hero's dad. And then that's going to be a title for Sith now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
that's one thing.
Alec Guinness is probably like, none of that happened when I read those lines. What is going on? Pay me my money. Just give me my money.
Right.
That's
now we're like, that's so like evil and like crazy. But you look back in the day, George Lucas is probably sitting at his computer going like, I like the name Garth, but I want to put a D on it so it sounds more spacey.
You sound like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, I know. My George Lucas and Kermit the Frog kind of like they're on the same pulse, right?
That's a pretty good Kermit the Frog.
Every show.
Thanks, there, John.
Yeah.
Well, let's go. Anyway, back to you, Scotty. What do you think?
I like it too, but there could totally be an episode, and I think there should be one in the future of either this show or someone could do it, where you can just find all the old interviews where Lucas says one thing and he does something completely
it's
different.
magical. Yeah.
I can't even imagine. But anyway,
George Lucas arguing with George Lucas about the truth about Star Wars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think we could get into that today too, because the original script for Revenge of the Jedi was very different than the outcome we got.
Mm-hmm. And I thought you were going to say Revenge of the Nerds for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Lucas's famous script, but
for Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, with
we
John
gotta have
Goodman.
Judge Reinhold in there.
But anyway, y'all, look, Jerry, got anything you want to update us on, man? Anything interesting happened in your life the past 2 weeks?
Man, you know what? There's been nothing but life happening the last couple of weeks.
I can tell you that.
We had a nice weekend. We had this crazy big yard sale where I sold. I was kind of documenting a little bit of it on Twitter. I had a Star Wars T-shirt section of probably 15 or so Star Wars T-shirts because
that's hard to do.
I'd gotten this had been picked out months and months and months ago about how I'm I need to kind of cycle through these. They're the basic ones or I'm kind of getting into more of a hipster Star Wars shirt phase.
Yeah.
It
Celebration
was just
exclusives only.
Yes, right. Yes. That's
I buy my Star Wars shirts at Banana Republic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are the most generic, just like the big, like, oh, let's put the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
But yeah,
anyway,
no.
No.
Did you sell all of them? Did you sell all of them or no?
Actually, we sold none of them. Oh, we sold one. One.
Which one did you sell?
I sold, gosh, I can't remember. It was like a green Boba Fett kind of comic booky looking one and stuff. It was really overrated, you know. Yeah, I know you'd appreciate that. But no, I sold that, and I got into a good conversation with the lady and stuff. And it was going really good until she was like, "Yeah, Disney's just not doing so good anymore, are they?" I was
They're like, what
does that mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I just smiled and nodded. I'm not gonna be that guy.
No,
I'm like,
there's no point.
But she was talking about how their park is failing and all that stuff, and I was like,
Oh, jeez.
very quickly.
She must be on YouTube a lot.
But I met my neighbor who lives across the street from me, who is a big Star Wars fan. He puts on an anime convention actually in town.
Wow.
Pretty nice guy. We just had them over tonight for some beers and some burgers. So
Nice.
just normal life stuff. Scott, you know
Beautiful.
what's going on with you though, man? What have you been doing this 2-week break?
Well, I went to the beach with my family. I went to Orange Beach with my dad and my stepmother and my girl, and great little trip. Sat in the lazy river for 2 days straight, so you can't beat that. So I enjoyed that. That wasn't too bad. But one thing I will say, I'm sure I have students listening to this right now. It's just granted. I showed them data from the podcast, and now they're obsessed. Every Monday, they're like, "How did recording the podcast go on Sunday?" I said, "It went fine." Do y'all just meet in like a room and talk? I said, "No, he lives in Michigan." Like, but how is he there? I'm like, it's magic. You know, it's just podcasting magic. And these kids are in 6th grade. They could really look this up if they actually cared enough. But every Monday I get, "How's your podcast? When's it going to get posted?" And I don't think a single one of them, except one, listens, because he told me he listens. So, if for any of my kids listening right now, if you walk up to me and say, "Stay Bombad," I will give you a high five. It's a big thing. I don't give high fives because I'm a germaphobe. So, wait, what?
You don't give them an A if they give you. Come on, man. Come on.
Well,
they get our listenership up.
That one student who's listening, and if the principal of Scotty's school is listening, just know that Scotty's swaying his grade curve based on who listens to his podcast.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Exactly what's
likes
happening.
And reviews. Anything helps. I mean, I've got 150 kids that can really boost my stats here.
There you go.
I mean, could you imagine? I get monetized by tomorrow night. Like, if I really wanted to, I could.
You can quit your job, man. Podcasting is very lucrative. I'm telling you.
There you go.
I got a beer
There you
fridge
go.
back there. You wouldn't believe what that thing can do. I mean, it's
I can see the craft brewing box on the top of it, John.
Yes. So that is
Several.
I bought craft beers from Kirkland, which is from Costco.
Ooh,
Costco's
fancy.
the best.
To test out, how they are, and they hold up. Yeah.
Very nice.
Pretty
That's
good.
nice to know. That's nice to know.
That's the type of stuff you're going to get from me tonight, folks.
Okay, I was gonna say, is that your update, John, on life? You've just been.
No. Give us your update, John.
My update in life. So my son just turned 1. So
Yeah, happy birthday
we
to
had a
little
big-
John.
Yeah, we had a big party for him. That was really cool. Just juggling life. Thanks to my wife who's been sick lately, letting
man.
me be able to do so much that I do with Star Wars Newsnet and the Resistance broadcast. Because, we haven't, on the podcast, we haven't taken a week off since like early 2018.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
James was away, Lacey wasn't feeling well, but we still were able to get it done. And we plug hours on hours. And then when we're done at the end of the day, it's time to go to bed and then go to my real job. It's like, man,
It's crazy.
Burning the midnight oil, but it's fun and I love it, and I'm glad to be here doing this with you guys tonight.
Aw, the sweetest.
I am. I really am. People sometimes think I'm not, but I really am the sweetest.
John, you are a sweetheart, man. You're a sweetheart. Don't worry about it. And
It's those
who
blue
cares if you
eyes.
buy Kirkland beer? It's okay.
I like all
It's
kinds of
delicious.
beer, except Old Duels. I'm not a fan, but
That's a hard beer.
Yeah.
No. See, I don't like. I've never liked a Corona. It's weird.
I had a
Just
Corona
not
today.
This is now a beer pride podcast.
Yeah, that's
it.
right.
Drinking coffee.
I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper.
I have coffee
leaded.
and water. I'm being a good boy right now. So
That's good. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. One thing I wanted to bring up this, and this might be a little too sentimental for John's taste. I don't know how he react to this, but honestly, John, if it weren't for you and your show, me, myself, and thanks to Patrick and Bill back in the day, I wouldn't be doing this. I started listening.
Oh,
and
wow.
Literally, I can tell you, it was September or maybe it was October. No, it was October 17. So my podcasting days, I had listened to other podcasts before that, but habitual podcasting, thank you.
Wow.
You
Thanks,
kicked
man.
it off for us. For me at least.
Why?
So,
May I ask why?
I'll never forget it. You weren't there, but I'll never forget it. I was looking through Twitter. I fell in love with Star Wars Newsnet because back in 2014, y'all were the first to break a bunch that was Star Wars 7 news, right? And y'all are breaking all kinds of fantastic, articles back when, TFA stuff was coming out. And I was like, this is awesome, This is a great place to follow. So I became more active on Twitter, just commenting and stuff. And people, I believe, his name Chad Stevens, some people at the time were commenting and posting back with me. And I'm like, this is really cool. And so flip about 2 or 3 years later, when the Last Jedi trailer was coming out, and I had already been to Celebration in 17.
Nice.
I was just chilling on Twitter, and I saw that y'all were having a live thing for that first, that final TLJ trailer, and I met up with Patrick, and me and Patrick had just been cool ever since, and then I just started listening, and then I started inputting, and then I heard my name mentioned, and then it became so much more than that, and here we are now. Now we've got you on the show, and it's just like, it's cool. It's full circle, and I'm just so happy to be here. What about you, Jerry? When did you get started with this?
Well, I actually started listening to Resistance broadcast hardcore, like religiously. It was the beginning of last summer.
Yeah,
I don't know. And it really is the most involved that I ever got in a podcast community. I'd listened to podcasts for years. But I never got really involved with anything until I got involved with the Resistance broadcast and stuff, and started, commenting on things and all that. And then, of course, I went to Celebration, and I knew of Scott. Scott, me and you had kind of maybe passing on the internet and everything. But I would not have met Scott had it not been for that Resistance broadcast meetup on Thursday. And I met up with him and Katie. Then I followed them around like a little for the rest of the time.
It was perfect though.
So, yeah,
it wasn't even. You were third. Katie was third-wheeling us at that point. It went from me and Jerry fell in love. It just
Allison's always like, "Are you texting your boyfriend right now?" Like, yeah. That's how it goes.
That's how it is, but John, I guess from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for kind of kickstarting this show, and our friendship was kind of just because we happened to be the same place, same time, Oh,
that's really cool. I mean, it's crazy to hear, but I mean that means so much because you know how Star Wars fans can get with the the negativity sometimes and all that stuff, and we've really tried to cultivate a positive atmosphere with TRB, and we don't try to take it too seriously, and we try to mix fun with lore diving and that sort of thing. But it's mainly the people that we've noticed that wrap themselves around the podcast for whatever reason. It's been overall a lot of positive people that like to meet and get along, and pretty much like what happened at Celebration with the meetups and our panel and that sort of thing. So folks like you two and others that make it fun for us to do those 6-hour recording nights and stuff. So you guys are awesome, and that means a lot, man. It's insane for me to hear it, to be honest with you, but because it's just I'm just plugging in and talking about Star Wars, but
isn't that weird?
It means a lot, so I really appreciate it.
Well, of course, man, and from the bottom of our hearts, it's just such a fun thing to do, and I never thought I'd do it. It's one of those things we'll just try it. We talked about it, and you do it, and now you've got people that are expecting a show on Tuesday, and it's awesome. You don't want to let anyone down, like you said earlier. You've got, sometimes it's just a lot, but at the same time, it's the payback, and I'm sure starting the Patreon page was something that y'all had thought about for a long time, and just doing it was probably beneficial as well for the for making things happen. And of course, with that comes extra content. And I'm just happy y'all are killing the game, and y'all really.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's just
you guys
awesome,
really are like one of the best like content providers out there. Like, you guys, really good quality stuff, like everything. So
well, that's a lot of that's I can talk Star Wars and whatever, but in terms of the technical and the visual aspect of it, it's all James and Lacey. They're so good at editing, and James creating our logos and our designs for our t-shirts. Like, I'll come up with an idea, but he'll bring it to life. And then Lacey's awesome. Good at video editing. Like, she makes me look so good in those rumor reviews that you may have seen. Like, so it's just those two are just out like on another level, and I think that to me that's why, if anything. We're where we're at, but
Well, one thing I will plug for them: if you do not listen to the Resistance podcast already, please do yourself a favor, subscribe to them, review them, do whatever you want. But you should definitely join their Patreon page. Jerry and I are both a part of their Patreon page, and we just every time it's posted, I make sure I watch something that's on there. Just when I got a free time, it's one of those things like. You go throughout your day, and there might be 5 minutes you have to yourself, and if you want to watch a video, I can always go to them. They got new stuff every day, or every other day at least.
Thanks, man.
Totally. It's a great page to be a part of, and I will say this: whenever I took y'all to dinner that one night, and Jerry, next time you will 100% be there. But whenever we went to dinner that one night, I might have gave the same spiel to you and Alex and all of them at dinner, but like it's the same thing. It's just like you make. Your show, and now that I'm doing my own, it's kind of weird, but your show it makes the mundaneness of life and doing some remedial things way better. Folding the clothes, put TRB on. I found this podcast with Eli Roth, and he's interviewing Quentin Tarantino. I've been listening to that for the past 4 days, just doing whatever. So, hopefully people listening here that haven't listened to y'all will go to y'all now. But anyway, let's get into the big discussion, guys.
Well, I'm only doing this so I don't drive my wife crazy talking about Star Wars. So.
Exactly.
Sometimes my wife's like, "Are you going down there? Good."
Yeah, exactly.
Record same.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's awesome. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. I don't handle compliments well, so I'm glad we're not on video because I feel like I might be blushing a little bit. But
that's a good color on you. It's all right.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And again, to anyone out there listening, you're but just by listening to Star Wars podcasts and like sharing them with other people and that sort of thing, I feel like is the call to the light, if you will. Like this is the stuff that keeps it churning. Even if we're going to be, post episode 9, there may be a little bit of a lull, but you can always talk Star Wars, and there's always the amount of content that's going to be coming down the pipe is going to keep this engine running for a long time, and that gets me excited.
It does, and with that being said, John, I realize you're the John.
Yeah,
you're the David Letterman of Star Wars podcasting.
Why is that?
Because he doesn't take a compliment. He's just like, "Oh, thank you." There's one episode where Norm Macdonald's on. And he's like, "I love you, Dave," and he's like. Norm, thank you so much. It's such a good video. Right. He becomes so stiff.
I must say something self-deprecating now. I have to.
But like I brought up earlier, Celebration, y'all. We were all there together when we first heard this man's appearance. This episode will deal with someone very special. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about in just a brief moment. Jerry, what were you feeling when you first heard the infamous cackle?
Oh man,
I was right next to you.
A lot of things. Kind of was just like confused. Like, wait, what? I don't know if you guys like. I still kind of follow. Almost said Collider Jedi Council. Collider Jedi Council. A little bit here and there, but Christian Harloff, that was kind of his big thing. He was saying like, "Oh, Palpatine's coming back." And I mean, every time he said it, I'd be like, "Nah." No way. Nah, dog. No way. Nope. And then all of a sudden, here's this cackle. And, I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then not only do we have the cackle, but then the trailer goes down and they show the celebration stage. 'Cause we were all, out there on the floor. And
John was too.
Yeah, they showed there is standing before all of those people, Dermot. In front of that red background, and like he can't say anything. Everyone's like freaking out, and that was wild in the same room. And then the infamous roll it again. And oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Scotty, that was like our first day hanging out like the whole day. And I mean, like, shaking me by the shoulders and stuff. Fine, man. I was like, just shake me to death because this is like, what is life right now? So anyway, that's where I was. What about you?
Yeah.
But John, what about you?
Similar. I mean, James and I didn't get the arena, so we were on the Star Wars show stage. I guess you guys were too, right? Is what you were saying?
Yeah, we were on the
opposite
close
side
to each other.
of you guys. I think.
Okay, yeah. So, so me and James are sitting there and we're watching the panel, and we ran into he, and he was hanging with us, and then Claire and Charlie from Imperial Senate podcast were right by us, so we met them for the first time, and Claire shared some of her booze with us, and so I was having a little bit of that, getting a little loosened up. So I was so stressed out. I was so stressed out.
That was intense, man. Those like I had when I went in 17. I mean, me and Katie were like. They're like this much with people, and there's so many, and like it's sweaty, and everyone's breathing and talking and yelling. Like whenever the camera would move over in front of the screen, they're like, "Oh my god!" Like it's such a hostile environment,
right? And then
it really is
the panel just building up to the trailer, and then like you say, the trailer plays, and just before the trailer played. Lacey was texting me and James, and she had found out. She's like, Ian McDiarmid is backstage for some reason. So I was reading that text. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I guess he's here, and he's hanging out, or he may come out, or whatever." But I didn't really put two and two together. And I don't like reaction videos, but James apparently turned the camera on us. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but I had one of those like what just happened? Like I'm on a hidden camera show moments. Like I lost my mind. I just kept screaming the word "what," and I just kept screaming it over and over again. And then Jerry, like you said, then he pops on, and he's on that stage, and it was like I don't know if you guys ever watched like old pro wrestling, but.
Yeah.
It was like when Chris Jericho made his debut at like WWF. Like he just all of a sudden there he is, and the crowd just pops. and
so awesome.
He's trying to stay in character with his angry face, but like he chuckles a little because he's so overwhelmed by how much people are happy to see him. And then he gets his angry face back on, and he's able to roll out the "roll it again" line, and it just like. Place went bananas. He could have said anything. He could have been like Boston cream donuts, and people would have been like, but, so it was insane, man, insane.
With that being said, I just never forget, and it's in the reaction video too, because we did one and we threw y'all's video in on top of it.
Yes.
I'm watching it, and I'll be open. I'm a very emotional person, and I start to cry at one point because they show that shot of Carrie and Leia, and I'm like, oh, dude, no, Carrie and Ray, and
Carrie
I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Then, of course, when that happened, and whenever a trailer goes black. They usually never show something. It's always going to be a sound. So I was anticipating a Yoda line. I was anticipating maybe Obi-Wan, or maybe even Darth Vader's voice. I mean, just very out of left field. And then when it was just a laugh, the collective in the whole room, that must have been
I got goosebumps
20,000
right now
people.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, that must have.
No offense to anyone who wasn't there, but it was definitely a energy in the room kind of thing.
Yes,
I'm sure people at home even watching Star Wars fans at home, I'm sure had a reaction.
Yeah.
But oh my god.
From watching celebrations years past, just kind of on CouchCon, as a points it. But watching CouchCon style, you get the reaction, but to be with that many people who are having the exact same reaction as you, it's something
profound.
There's something electric in the air. No pun intended. Pun intended. There's force lightning in the room.
There you go.
But with that being said, having the first sequel trilogy trailer was the Chewie We're Home, which was I couldn't imagine that. Last show I didn't really have one. Last show was in the Jedi Need to End, and then it cuts.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good of one. Right. This one, though, was, of course, I was expecting something, and we kind of didn't know where this one was going to go, being as TLJ has to start off with a cliffhanger from the last movie.
Right.
So to think of where this could go, my mind was just going insane. But the last place it would be was with this dude. all grown up with, with just this horribly evil dude. And yeah, that's right. We are going to go full on talking about our boy, Sheevy Babes, Emperor Palpatine.
Yes. See, you know what's funny, Scott? You said you got emotional because of the Leia thing, right? Mm-hmm. I, if you watch our reaction video, the first time I didn't get emotional, but when they showed it again, they rolled it again.
Yeah.
Like, the cackle made me emotional because I was like, because I love Palpatine so much, like Ian McDiarmid, and I'm like, how much more are we gonna be able to see this dude? He's 75 playing Palpatine. I'm like, I grew up watching this guy as the villain, and he's back. I'm like, I just felt like a rush of my youth and stuff just coursed through my body, and I got overwhelmed by it. It was so weird, but yeah. It's amazing what Star Wars does. I could watch an Avengers trailer and be like, okay, that was cool. Star Wars,
I'm the same way.
I'm like, bang! I just got hit by energy. It's crazy.
Doing backflips here.
Yeah, insane. Well, it's like endorphins.
Exactly. It's one of those things, especially with that trailer. We've just been so lucky to have seen them, instantly, and I couldn't imagine back in the day to wait for the theater to show it. It's just for us to be there and enjoy it all together. And then, of course, after that trailer ended, no matter what else was discussed that entire time, everyone kept saying "roll it again." The whole weekend was "roll it again."
Yep.
I mean,
that's
Saturday,
now a Palpatine line, even though it was never a movie.
Right. Yeah.
That is one of the quotes.
Yes. Right.
Well, and then with what's most recently revealed, and we can totally get into this right now, but that most recent new line from Palpatine was "Your journey now nears its end," and that alone is to get McDiarmid back and for him to do lines. Of course, he did it in Rebels, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but for it to be a movie and just be to know we're actually going to get something from it has just been so. That's there's things you do and you might do some pretty boring stuff all day and you might get tired of what you do all day, but for some reason when you think back about what we're going to get in December and what we could see in December is just so. Oh, it's keeping me going. It's sad, but it's keeping me going. It just is.
No, it's aside from the holidays, it's just now it's Star Wars and Christmas go hand in hand. It's just
right.
All this
the whole
all this
family
goodness.
Goes.
Yeah.
Do you how would y'all if we don't mind just getting off topic real quick, what's y'all's traditions? Do y'all go with family members? Do y'all make it a point to bring your wives out?
I actually take. Oh, go ahead, John.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I actually at least since the new Disney era films have been coming out, it'll usually be me and Allison. We'll go. Force Awakens, we couldn't go opening night, Thursday night was sold out before. I had
wow.
set my alarm because I get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work. The tickets come on sale, at 10 or 11. And so I had to set an alarm. I got up and I would try to get my tickets and all that stuff. That's part of the tradition is in October, having this night, trying to refresh AMC's site to try to get my tickets. But usually, Allison will come with me opening night. We'll watch it and all that kind of stuff. It's just a fun time. She's got some. And she's got an uncle and some cousins who are into Star Wars. They went with us to TLJ, and that
cool
time we went to Olive Garden beforehand.
Lovely.
Oh, nice.
All our theories and stuff, because when you're there, you're family.
Yep.
Yes.
Star Wars is even better, with some breadsticks and some wine on it. But it seriously was.
Did you smuggle breadsticks into the theater? That's what I did.
am not going to. I will neither confirm nor deny the existence of breadsticks in the theater. I get one of those. They have popcorn tins there for TLG. I was just showing it off tonight, actually, to my neighbors into Star Wars, and it's that poster of Rey, with the stand-in Luke style and that poster and stuff. I love that.
That's hilarious.
Nice. But anyway. That's kind of my tradition, though. Yeah. What about you guys?
John, you go first, bud.
So my wife doesn't like opening night movies, big movie events. And she has her reasons for it. So usually I'll go with like friends or my one buddy of mine who was like, yeah, I'm gonna go with you at all the openings or whatever. So we would like I said, get the tickets on Fandango or AMC or whatever, and do the Thursday night preview deal and go whether it's midnight or whenever the showing we can get is, and not don't make that too big of a deal out of it and do that sort of thing. I mean, I obviously had a lucky chance to see TLJ a little earlier than most people.
Yeah. Why did we not bring that up? I forgot you went to the premiere. I remember messaging you. I'm like, what was it like? And you're like, oh, you'll see my review. I'm like, okay.
So that one was a little different. But I still went opening day the same way I always do with my friends because we had the tickets. Because I didn't even know I was going to LA at the time. So, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I have my tickets. Try not to think about it because I hate countdowns because it's just like it makes time crawl for me. So, and it's like we're 187 days away. I'm like,
Adam Lance Garcia every day.
Yeah,
I know, and it's like
someone's I'm doing a better one where it's like 15 weeks away or something now.
That's not as bad.
That's easier.
I'm fine. Do we ever go do? I have no problem people doing countdowns. Just for me personally, it like slows my brain down to like my approach.
Yeah, I get that.
But I mean, nothing extravagant, nothing special. I remember going to Solo and they gave us the dice and the poster and that was awesome. And
you went with Lacey though, didn't you?
Yes. So Lacey,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Lacey and I went, and my wife went to that one too, and my friend Carl and his wife, and we saw Solo, and I love that one. But like nothing, too exciting. Just got our tickets Thursday night because I want to make sure I see it before anyone else could, because I don't want to get spoiled. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Star Wars Twitter is a fickle.
Oh yeah,
it is.
Like even if there was a showing before mine, I like cover my ears in case people are walking out. Like,
mute the phone.
How it is.
Pop earbuds in or something. Just like okay.
Well, with that, like you saying, for sometimes it's just kind of another day, and you kind of have to just you don't want to anticipate it. The hardest thing for me is getting rid of this damn Twitter for 10 days before it. That is so like I literally delete the app, I delete Reddit, I delete Facebook, and I ghost myself, and all I do is delete photos because I have so many photos on my phone. I go through and delete like maybe 20 a day so I can give me something to do on my phone. Like it's nuts. With teaching though, I feel it's going to be a little bit different this year. Probably a little more time not to think about it. But my general traditions are to make sure my whole day is like completely cleared off. I try to watch at least the movie that came out before it. I try with Solo. I watched Empire Strikes Back because Lawrence is writing it. I wanted to see if they're going to do anything. So with this one, of course, I'm going to watch TLJ, and I always kind of make a big deal of it. Katie she's usually in the other room, but she has really treated those days with so much reverence. Like she makes sure that we've got nothing planned. She treats me to a meal, and we have a great. I'm very thankful. Like she'll get off work and stuff for me, and she works for the state, so like she really does all out for us. So that's one thing I love that first day, and I'm sure you both will agree with this. The night after you see that movie, sleepless.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I
sleepless.
take the next day of work off. Because
and
I lay in bed on vacation day for that Friday.
Yeah. I think if I did that, I would just like go back and try to see it again immediately.
That happened, I think, when TLJ came out. The Friday, like my wife was meeting someone in town, so I dropped her off, and I was like, I'm just gonna pop over here real quick.
Yeah, there you go.
Hours,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm serious. That's like one of the best things after it comes out is going multiple times.
I'll never forget, Scott. You tweeted either at me or at TRB when you had a theater to yourself during a TLJ viewing.
I was
telling. That's awesome.
Was I telling Jerry? No, I must be telling someone else the other day. Well, that was insane because the movie had been out for a month at that point, and. I don't know if y'all have any AMCs in your areas, but AMC in Baton Rouge has an extremely nice theater, the Dolby
Atmos.
Wow, it blanks. Atmos, yes, it's so fine. Okay,
I love AMC.
So of course TLJ comes out, and I wanted to see when's the last showing in that theater, and it was like Wednesday at 10 p.m. I'm like, I gotta go. So I went there. And not a single soul was in that theater, and I literally I screamed and yelled the whole time, and like it was just it was so cool to have a whole theater to yourself, and the sound was immense. And I even asked before it started, I said, is there any way you can crank that volume up a lot more? And she goes, yes, for you, we can, because you're the only one that bought tickets, you can definitely do it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. So they like bumped up the volume. So when that first boom hit, it was just like, ooh, it was good.
Don't lie, you ran around pretending you had a lightsaber too, didn't you? Come on.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Nice. Very nice.
I was just throwing things
fighting
out.
Praetorian guards.
But like one
See?
tradition, yeah, exactly. I was just sitting in different chairs the whole time. But one tradition I do with my family every year when a Saga film comes out, I make it a point to go see it with both sides of my family. I got my dad's side and my mom's side, and I make it that Saturday. It comes up, we go see my dad's side in IMAX, and that Sunday usually I go see it with my mom's side. So it's that's when it's a big deal to me. That's when I'm like coordinating and buying tickets for people. But
wow.
But I had no idea, when TLJ ended, where they could take this movie, because TLJ's ending felt like an ending to a whole series. You know what I mean? Like it just ended, and then you're like, wow, what can they do? And Broom Boy and everything that happened after that. But with the return of this character, guys, I wanted to bring up one thing, and one thing in particular. What the hell are they going to do with this one character? Because there have been so many seeds planted through these books and through all the TV shows and just knowing Palpatine as a character. John, what do you honestly think? Like, to your core, you think we're going to see, not visually with this character, but like, I guess, story-wise. How are they going to pull this off?
Yeah, it's funny because I keep racking my brain about it, and we've speculated on it over at TRB, and I've tried to think about editorials I could write for Star Wars Newsnet about it, and I'm just like sitting there staring at a blank Google Doc, like I'm just like, I don't know, but here's my first thing: if you're getting McDiarmid back, I don't see how they're not going to show him in some kind of physical manifestation in the makeup.
They're going
I'm
to.
sorry,
Right.
They have to.
So. That's why, like, when people are like, "Oh, Matt Smith is going to play Palpatine," I'm like, "God, I hope not. Friggin' hope not."
Yeah.
Like, get McDiarmid in there. So
They've said as much, haven't they? Like, I feel like I remember somewhere them saying
Boyega
he's
said
back.
Boyega said he was like, it was awesome to see him on set and moving and doing stuff on set.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that was 100% a confirmation. Now, what form we might see him was something, one of those things that you can kind of like predict. But like, exposition-wise, I think this whole movie's really going to just center around him. It has to.
I agree, and I think I've been saying this for a while. I think Star Wars has a little bit of a villain problem in terms of creating new villains. It's like we're going to introduce a villain, and then we're going to kill him, and then we're going to introduce a villain, and then we're going to kill him. Right. And it's like Palpatine and Vader were such good villains that I don't mind if you're going to bring him back to end this Skywalker saga. Now the question is it a spiritual manifestation? Did he figure out what the Jedi figured out? Does it have to do with the Plagueis and that sort of thing? The quest to be immortal. I don't know. So my guess is he will have figured out some sort of way to manifest himself. I just don't know how, and I'm really happy that I don't.
Yeah,
it's gonna be so nice.
Once you've figured it out, where's the fun? You get in there.
Exactly.
Oh, I avoid spoilers. People are like,
Right.
"Oh, you write for a Star Wars site, you must know." I'm like, hey, "Nope, I'll let Grant write that." Like,
Right.
I'll write about a production that's coming out in 5 years or something like that, or like the other news stuff. But when it comes to spoilers, like I respect the game. But I want to be like JJ's told Kevin Smith, you want to see this in a theater. Like,
oh man,
right?
I can wait, 100 days or whatever it is at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's so coming up so quick.
Yeah,
it's going to be here before you know it.
Oh yeah.
Like Jerry, what about you in regards to just seeing him again? I mean, what are you anticipating really? Like, what is one thing that you just are? I'm just jonesing to see the face and to see if they do anything different with the makeup. Right. I just want to know if they're gonna approach it from a certain perspective. I don't know. What do you think?
I think they're gonna kind of do like with Kylo Ren's mask, like a kintsugi kind of thing. With the red, and blue and stuff. It's just his face fell apart, but he put it back there. No, I really don't know. I've got like. I'm surprised that I don't have like a theory wall with red string and all kinds of stuff like in my basements.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've got some crackpot stuff about this. Like my biggest thing, I feel like, and again, it's one of those things where you don't want to like think too much about it, because you don't want to like spoil yourself. Like you don't want to accidentally be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like with what the canon material we've been getting in books and in the shows and just even with the movies, when Palpatine, when we heard his cackle, and whenever we saw him, McDermott on stage, for me everything fell into place. Because before that, John, I was kind of the same way. I was kind of leaning maybe a little towards Bendemption, and I'm still open to whatever. But from that point, I was like, okay, there's a big bad right there. Like we got Palpatine coming back, so there is definitely open. There's an opening for Kylo Ren now. Like I see something like that in his future possibly, but it just makes perfect sense. Like everything clicked into place for me from Force Awakens and TLJ. I was like, well, of course, if Palpatine figured out a way to cheat death or whatever, what would he want to do but destroy the Skywalkers? Like,
oh yeah,
lives miserable, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you do taking Han and Leia's shot? Anyway, I'm gonna get too far into it, and then I'm gonna end up describing the entire plot of the movie probably. I'm that good, but no, just I feel like when he was talking to Anakin about cheating death, about how we can work together and figure out the secret. I think he either figured it out and didn't tell him, or knew and just
totally
and
totally.
I don't think it's going to be a clone. I don't think it's going to be a spirit per se, but I think it's going to be something. We're going to see just how unnatural the dark side can be. He talks about Wars being unnatural. I think it's going to be something surprising and something we don't expect, kind of a lot like what Luke did on Crate, something you won't see coming. And I'm not saying Palpatine's like sitting in the bottom of the Death Star force projecting anywhere, but
I have a different take on him talking to Anakin in the theater thing, because he explains it to him, and he's probably testing the waters to see how he reacts to it a little bit. And he's like, okay, he's asking me questions. He wants to know more about this, so I can work with this. And then later, when he gets confronted by Anakin when he's going to arrest him, he's like, I have this power, the Jedi don't. I can teach it to you. He was saying it's legit, it's tangible, it's there. And then when Anakin kills Windu, or they both kill Windu, and he becomes Darth Vader, he's like, well, I haven't figured it out yet, but maybe together we can figure it out. And he's like, all right. So
it went a little too far.
The Sith version of buying a timeshare.
It was like a sales pitch, and now when he finally got him, he's like, well, now together we can discover the secret. Yeah. So I don't know. And then you guys probably heard the theories about the Lord Momin thing, and that is it possible that his essence went into Vader's mask, and there is a clear shot of the lightning bolt going through Vader's mask, and you see his skeleton. And one of our fans pointed this out to us. He was like, listen to this track when the Emperor gets thrown down the reactor shaft. That when the blue comes up and that screaming sound, that the sound of the whatever that is, force whatever going up.
Yeah.
And the teaser at D23, right before Dark Ray, you hear Palpatine's line. You hear this sound, which sounds just like that from Return of the Jedi, and then you hear Vader's breathing. Is that them saying Palpatine went into Vader there? And that theory is very interesting to me, because if it was Palpatine talking to him the whole time, then you can really connect all three movies without it just being like, well, JJ didn't know what the hell to do, so he just brought back Palpatine.
Right.
And it's the perfect Palpatine because it's the ultimate manipulation. And it's cool to see if you really take a step back. And I was watching some old clips and thinking he manipulated everyone. He got Padme screwed her over.
Yep.
And whenever Padme defined him, and no, we're going back to Naboo. He's like, well, I'll work with it. You know, he's like, this might actually work out for me.
Right.
So then we got Jar Jar who fell for it. Was like, you need to give ultimate power to this dude for Attack of the Clones. Fell for it again. And one of the best scenes from Attack of the Clones, and of course no one likes that movie, but one of the best scenes from it is when he's looking over at the clone army and the music, and I think it's the Imperial March plays. You're like, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny, and no one brings this up, but you can look back at old blog posts from 1999 and even from 2001. No one thought Sidious and Palpatine were the same person.
Really?
Isn't that weird?
No one who was born.
I was gonna say
exactly.
Like, those of us who have seen the original trilogy all knew, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, you can look like, I don't know if Sidious is Palpatine, if this is some new guy that Palpatine ends up killing, because like it's all threaded there. And I think the best part of Revenge of the Sith was, like you said, that whole entire, not the Plagueis speech, but the whole like, we're gonna figure this. If we're not gonna get it now, but we're definitely later.
Yeah, together we'll do it. Yeah.
I thought as a kid, and of course I didn't think about this complex, but I thought, well, how are they going to really kill all the Jedi? I was 9, you know, like how are they going to? There's so many of them.
Right.
And the fact that he, of course, for Palpatine's sake, and I'm sure this is something you both agree on, the fact that he was on both sides of the war was genius. Like it's so. I think George Lucas, of course, I kind of say he's a bad writer. I think he's a great writer, but like. That to me is the most clever writing of all time. To have this one villain,
great story, just not with romantic dialogue between
bingo.
People.
George Lucas is one of the greatest storytellers of all time.
Yes.
But some of his dialogue, even dating back to the greatest Star Wars movies ever, Harrison Ford's like, he would tell me to just do it. He's like, read this. You can't just do this. He's like, I can't say this. I'm not saying that word.
But you can't.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was the most genius part of the prequels is the fact that this same dude is playing both sides of the war. Then you see it in Clone Wars, he's even more fleshed out. It's like, and then of course it makes the Jedi look like complete idiots because the entire time they're like, what are we going to do about these separatists? And you're talking to the man who's running both of them.
Right. Yeah.
It's such a cool theory, and there hasn't been, honestly, to me, y'all might have different opinions, there hasn't been another character in pop culture history that's played the role. That is completely, you know, in regards to stories and huge stories, has ever done
master,
that.
Yeah. Like,
it's hard to think of another villain who has accomplished anything quite like Palpatine ever did.
Yeah.
It is kind of a grand scale, and I can't really like Thanos in the new Avengers movies was one of I believe one of the better villains that we've had in a while. But he close to Jeeve or even Vader, any of them.
Yeah, I agree because the trend I get a lot lately with movies, and I get it. You want to make things more complex, and you want to see why they do the things they do. And Thanos is like, well, this is why, because we're overpopulated. And it's like, well, all right. But, like, Palpatine was just evil.
Yeah.
Strictly selfish.
Evil. There's no,
completely,
well, I get his point of view here. Like, all villains today now, it's like, well, he's a dual protagonist, and he's got his reasons. And it's like, no, this dude is evil. And that's what I want my bad guys to be. And that's what George Lucas wanted him to be. And that's why I think he just still stands the test of time. And it's just, he's one of those villains where you don't need an explanation why he does what he does. He does what he does because he is pure evil. It's as simple as that. Evil. He's selfish. All he cares about is him. The immortality thing, he doesn't want anyone else taking over. That's why Operation Cinder, he's like, if I die, burn it down. Like, he wants to be the guy. He doesn't care about the Empire's legacy. He cares about his legacy. So it's just, that's why I think the whole, maybe he's coming back. It makes sense because that's all he cared about.
It's crazy.
Speaking of the contingency plan, do we think that is that going to be mentioned, or we see those Star Destroyers, we were talking about this in our live stream, Scotty. Like whenever in the trailer, it looked to me like it was just like an old like this is kind of like the space junkyard, like out here, but keep all the old rusted, Trans Ams and stuff. But that image came out. I forget who posted it. I'd like to give them credit, but with it brightened up, you can see there are lights on inside, and you can see the red stripes better too. And I don't know, it just screams contingency plan to me. So what do you guys think? You think that's going to be broached?
One thing I've always thought, now that, of course, when I'll never forget where I was at. I was in my college campus's library when they're like, Colin Trevorrow steps down, JJ steps up, and I think that day when it was, or it must have been a month before that one was announced. I think JJ honestly went up to the story group or went to the Kathleen Kennedy or whoever is involved with the story, telling he's like, what can I work with? Like, what have we got in all this that I can work with for this new movie? Because I don't think JJ had any plans.
Right.
Now, I know he has now stated, and it's been stated a lot more recently, that there was a plan the entire time, right? Mm-hmm. At least we think. I think loosely. JJ was like, yeah, loosely, but and they always said Kylo Ren or Adam Driver knew his arc before before he even signed the script, which is great. But I, honest to God, think JJ on that day is like, Pablo, what can I work with? Mm-hmm. You know, like what's one thread that y'all have been tying, you know, that you didn't want to, that you're saving for something else? Like, well, he's like, well, we got this whole Palpatine contingency plan. And I think they retroactively wrote something. And like, we got this, let's just think about where this could go and where this could end up. And honestly, I think the coolest dynamic we're going to see is, and I think you might agree with me, my biggest theory for 9, it's going to be the Knights are in with Kylo. They have their own thing going on. Hux and General Smiley have their own thing going on. And I think Palpatine's going to show up and have his completely his own, in old Stormtrooper outfits and everything, their own shit going on. Like, yeah. I really do think it's going to be like this. And the Resistance happens to be involved with, you know, each certain battle. I have no idea. I think this movie's going to really... I know I can tell you this. Kylo's going to be horribly pissed off when he realizes that it's not his grandfather the entire time. Yeah. It's going to be.
It really can't be either, because
right, it can't. That's yeah.
If that is Darth Vader telling him dark things, then you just axed everything that happened for Anakin in Return of the Jedi. So
exactly,
that doesn't make any sense to me. Which means, to me, it's almost a certainty that now that you're bringing Palpatine back, that has to be him speaking through that artifact, yes. That mask. And, you know, we live in a call-it culture where people are going to be like, I thought of that theory. And I think it's one of those things like in TLJ, like when I first heard that, oh, there's this character Rose that we're marketing the heck out of. Oh, by the way, she has a sister. I'm like, she's dying in the first 3 minutes of the movie. It's like, and everyone was like, yep, she's not going to live very long. Where's this actress? She's not anywhere. And it's like, boom, there she died. So it's like the same thing with this. I think a lot of people are on board with that. And it logically, it makes sense because, like I said,
it does.
In the concept art for TFA, they did show half Anakin, half Vader thing. But concept art is concept art. It doesn't mean it makes it to the pages.
It's concept.
Yeah.
No.
So, you know, Vader's gone. Vader died at the end of Return of the Jedi. Anakin's spirit lived on. So you're not going to bring Vader back and say, you know, he's talking to Kylo Ren. Now Kylo Ren thinks he's talking to Darth Vader.
Right.
Exactly.
But that's a different ballgame.
And that's the ultimate manipulation again.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Well, and you know, I've always thought that was an interesting concept. Like they were talking about, and why that's obviously why it's concept art. But you know, about Vader's spirit, they talked about kind of stepping in between the light and dark. But I never really thought that should be something that was canon or in the film, because that's just like you said, John. It does not make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
It just hurts his ending at the end of Return of the Jedi
absolutely.
so badly. Yeah,
yeah. It's like, and I think that's never really been that. Yeah.
Like, well, in regards to the story too, I don't think JJ is going to disrespect it at all. I think he's going to completely pay homage and you know. Make sure that what George set up does not get destroyed. Right. Because there's one really awesome thing that they brought up. I believe it was either in the panel or in the interviews after him. I think it was the panel where he's like, we sat down with Lawrence, we sat down with George, we sat down with Ryan, we sat down with, I think it might have been one other person, and they were like, you know, we sat there, had a whole day where we just brainstormed what could end or what is Star Wars and what is storytelling. So, I mean, that's all I got to say about that in regards to, you know, what was, you know, mentioned prior. I really do think the helmet is Palpatine. And I know I heard that from y'all's show first. John, and it just makes the most sense.
It's been out there. Like, we talked about it because it was so interesting to the three of us. Like, someone out there, doing whatever could have come up with like that theory. Like, I saw it floating somewhere on the internet. I'm like, that makes sense.
Well, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, because that's just immediately where my mind went to as soon as
right.
Stuff. It's like, it just seems kind of natural. Like, because I thought, like, why is he talking to Vader's helmet, and why does he think that it's like giving him this?
Exactly.
Why would Anakin would not show him the power of the dark? So I was thinking, Snoke must be.
Yeah, right.
That.
Yeah.
And then Snoke is, Snoke. No. I love Snoke, but anyway, he's cut in half. Seriously though, there's absolutely no reason why Anakin will be telling him any of that stuff.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. This is really shaping out to be one of the. We are going to find out how great of a manipulator Palpatine is by the time December rolls around. I
agree. And in terms of, I know, like, Scotty, you were saying, like, JJ goes to Pablo. I don't think it's like that.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we're talking big movie business here.
Right.
It's a big movie.
Multi-billion.
Yeah. And JJ's going to do whatever he wants. Like, if he's like, I'm going to bring Palpatine back, they're going to be like, okay.
It's true. That's a good point, because this is, like, and each one of them has said this. Yeah, they kind of just, they let us run free with whatever we want to do. And I'm like, they got to, and, at a certain extent, they might be like, oh, wait a second, you can't really do that. But, like,
like, he may ask them, like, has anything that is gone on conflict with this idea of mine? Because JJ's not watching 7 seasons of Clone Wars, probably. Let's be honest.
No, he's not.
So, and they'll probably just tell him, like, no, your road has no blocks on it, so you can take that road. And he has free range to write what he wants, within, like you said, respect to George's legacy and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So I think he has the capital. Like, I think JJ is like. I think he's a little bit of a control freak, and I think he kind of likes that, and he also likes to control how the information gets out there, because I was told he had 3 cuts of the first teaser, and he picked one for a specific reason, and he has them cut, and he oversees it. Like, he's very hands-on with that, and I think he just, and you can tell with JJ, he doesn't release a lot of nuggets. Like, remember when he opened his Twitter account, and he's like, I can't wait to share things with you guys, and he's like, I forgot, guys.
Single thing.
So sorry, yeah. So I just think he's running the show, and it's all gonna fall on him. Like, Chris Terrio's writing it with him, and he's directing it, but there's gonna be a lot of people mad at J.J. Abrams any way you slice it, because everyone who learned their lesson after TLJ are back saying, I can't wait for this to happen, instead of I hope this happens. It's I can't wait for this to happen. And so we'll see.
Well, gotta speculate responsibly for sure. For someone as savvy of a filmmaker as JJ is, he uses like Twitter like my dad uses Facebook, which is non-existent. So that was but anyway.
So one thing I want to ask y'all, and novelizations are novelizations, but I'm funny enough, John, I'm looking at the thing I won from y'all, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Rey and Kylo fighting in the snow.
Oh, the fog.
Yeah, the fog machine maker. Yeah. I'm looking at that right now, and there's a scene in the novelization where where Rey hears kill him,
Yeah.
And like, I always thought, I think it was Alan Dean Foster who wrote that book. And, like, I don't know if at any point anyone's like, it could have been some sort of manifestation of the Force, some dark side of the Force telling her to do that. But if it was Palpatine, it would make sense. Because, easily she could be manipulated. I'm not saying Rey's a bad, a simple character, but, like, she's got her own point of view and stuff, of course, but, like, she needed someone to train her, and she went straight to Luke, Right. She knew Kylo wasn't the one, but imagine if Palpatine showed up and was like, look, I can give you all this.
Yeah.
I think she'd take it. I really don't think she'd, deny it, because she was so thirsty to be able to obtain and use this power, because you can tell, especially at the beginning of TLJ, she's like, I just need this thing awoke in me, I don't know how to control it.
Yeah.
And maybe Palpatine's the one that shows up to her and is like, look,
this dude here, he just wants to kill you. He wants to overpower you. I can help you. So maybe at some point we might even see Rey and Palpatine having a convo, which would be sick.
That would be so sick.
It would just be. If you think about it, it would just be like the prequels are finally meeting the sequels, and it's like these things that have been planted years ago.
Don't you think
are now just. Oh,
because they were early on. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because I'm often. Wasn't there a plan like Han's movie, Luke's movie, Leia's movie? So 9 was supposed to be Carrie Fisher's deal, right?
Yeah,
I
that was
wonder if their
plan.
initial thought, if Palpatine was part of the plan from the get-go, was to have a face-off between Leia and Palpatine.
Oh my god!
Holy crap! Because they never met.
Yeah. Ooh. How insane would that have been? Or could they still do it somehow?
See that on screen, but I'm not going to put it past them. They've what have
I'm
they?
getting chills thinking about them.
I know, me too.
Saying that what they've done with that extra footage of Carrie is magical and stuff. We've already seen they've changed her clothing.
Yeah.
Different
that was
background
crazy.
and stuff like.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I mean,
I don't know.
The likelihood of them doing that now is probably low, but
right.
I wonder if that's something that they had in mind because, they've been building up that Leia has that connection to the Force, and she chose military over training and whatever. But we saw her use it to save herself in TLJ, and
so cool.
It's there. She talked to Luke via Force Skype. So I wonder if that was in their mind. I mean, it's can't really say much about it now because it's not going to happen likely, but. I like thinking about those types of things because I always wonder if she didn't die, what would have been the case? Yeah.
Right.
And it might have been something that kind of confined them and made them have to write differently, which could ultimately be a better thing. Like it with any real life interference, there's a lot of things. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was TRB that said it, but like. This might be silly, but with the death of Kenny Baker, I mean, maybe that's the reason R2 has not been involved so much,
Yeah.
He was on the Force Awakens set. It's in the documentary and everything.
Yeah.
He did stuff for that, too. But, like, I don't know. I mean, not to be disrespectful to Rian Johnson's movie. I love that movie, but, I mean, they only utilize R2 for the convincing Luke, which is a big scene, and then they had him moving the knobs on the Falcon. Yeah. That was it.
You're preaching to the choir there, man. I mean, I'm such a big R2 fan, and I wish him and 3PO were together a lot more, for sure.
Yeah. And we might see that in this movie.
I think we're going to be very pleasantly surprised by a lot. I don't know. I just have a feeling because 3PO has been so present in the marketing of this movie so far.
It's been odd.
You haven't seen any of R2 except for that shot from Vanity Fair, which looks like it's from TLJ.
Yep.
Yes. Might have been
R2 and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just thinking R2. I don't know, and I've got my hopes set very responsibly. But I was telling you, I think a couple weeks back, Scotty. I think R2 might figure in bigger to the plot, and that's why we can't see him right now because it's either super spoilery or R2 is the MacGuffin of the film.
Which could be true.
That's the droid with all I think they might be doing a misdirect with 3PO. Think of R2 is the one with all of the knowledge. He's the one with all of talk about Palpatine. He's been around ever since Palpatine's plan kind of first got started. So
it's true.
He didn't have his mind wiped. 3PO did.
No.
Yeah.
3PO did. And even with that, I'm sorry, John. What's up?
No, I was just gonna say I think we had an episode we called it Where is R2 or something like that a couple months ago because I was mad. I'm like, where the hell is he? Not in a serious way. I'm starting a YouTube channel that I hate Disney or anything, but just kind of a lighthearted. Where is he, man? Come on,
where is he?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jerry. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, with having so many legacy characters that are still around. We've always, and y'all said it in your show too. They're not killing Chewbacca; he's a cash cow. They're not killing R2, cash cow. 3PO, cash cow. Falcon, cash cow.
You're not building the Falcon at theme parks and then destroying. Everyone wants to kill the Falcon. Stop it.
What is up with that?
Oh man!
The closest thing we got
leave
is
our hunk of junk alone.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're going into TFA. I remember talking to people, and they were like, Han's going to go out in a blaze of glory, man. I'm like, Han will. Falcon won't. And then TLJ, they're like, Falcon's going out, man. This is it. Han's gone, now the Falcon's gone. I'm like, stop it. Like, just stop. And now people again.
Every
like,
movie, these people come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, they're like, Chewie and the Falcon are going to fly into the next Star Killer. I'm like, just shut up. Just stop it. Stop it.
They
Why do they have to?
Yeah,
I think we're going to see Lando finally get the Falcon back, you know, and I don't know.
That'd be cool.
A little, may not get an overt reference to L3, but I think he'll definitely kind of say, how you doing, old girl? You know, I don't know. I know you don't really care for L3, John. I know. I don't think she's going to talk. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, how come you didn't talk to her in 5 and 6? You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Good point.
Maybe they were on bad terms, you know.
Yeah, right. You took me to the wrong diner, you damn GPS. Like, I wanted to go to Olive Garden. I wanted my breadsticks, okay? Come on.
That's a Disney Plus series I want, is that little time between Empire and Return of the Jedi where, like, you know, Lando is kind of having an awkward, like, reacquaintance with
That'd be great for a From a Certain Point of View book or something.
Yeah. Oh, man, hey.
Jerry, start writing it
correct.
and pitch it.
Well, go ahead.
Start writing it and then pitch it.
Yeah, that's that's what I should do. I should totally do that.
Well, one thing I want to leave off on with y'all is, like, there's so many things that Palpatine did, you know, subtly as a character. Now, with Snoke, okay, it's just interested me more and more in the past couple of weeks. Like, not to say Snoke was throwaway, but are they gonna even touch on it, like why Snoke was Snoke, or, you know, people kind of, once he died, people were like, well, that's it for him.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really, they still want a book. People still want a book. I would love to read a book. But
I think we're getting a book for sure, but
yeah, but what are we gonna do? Like, what is?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to address it in the next movie. They have to.
Yeah.
It cannot be. You know, like, you thought Snoke was the. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think we're getting a PowerPoint presentation or anything.
Right.
But, like, well, Snoke was actually Darth Plagueis, and you see, he was Palpatine's master, who was second cousin.
Next slide, please.
But that would make. You know, if he turns out to be Plagueis, which I don't think is the case, it would ruin the thing of Plagueis, because Plagueis got killed again by some other punk.
Yeah, Plagueis isn't that good, is he? He got killed in his sleep. Like,
right?
Yes.
Palpatine smothered him with a pillow. Come on.
Yeah. The powerful Darth Plagueis the Wise wasn't too wise.
Yeah.
Turn your sound machine off.
With one eye open.
Right.
You know, I think we're going to find out. I think we're definitely getting more information on Snoke. They're not going to just, like, leave that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a hard time saying, like, they have to explain to me what happened to him. But I feel like we're going to find out he's some kind of, like, crony of Palpatine or something. Like,
maybe he was just a failed apprentice. Maybe he was just
a failed apprentice or a puppet or
something.
What will you? You know, like, some kind of something to do with Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this last week on TRB about how they may talk about Snoke, and I think one way they could definitely do it without getting too crazy with it is just simply, you know, Hux found archive surveillance footage showing that Kylo Ren killed Snoke, and he's using it as his, like, card in his back pocket to play when he's ready to, like, have people turn on Kylo Ren. You know,
and it's gonna happen.
Yeah, so I think the coup is going to be in operation here. I think that's how Snoke's going to get factored in. Like, he killed our true supreme leader, that sort of thing. But in terms of, like, who he is, like, I don't know, because I don't even know if JJ knew when he made the character. Like, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It was this trilogy's big baddie. That was like literally how they marketed it.
Right.
And Andy Serkis, like, he's way more powerful than Palpatine. Yeah. I think Andy Serkis knew he just had to play into press, but, like, I mean, they just axed him, and I'm not mad about it. I didn't like the character all that much, but to have this original, you know, he's the second Palpatine. They were bringing back the O freaking G, you know, twice over with Sidious and Palpatine.
Yep.
I mean, super OG.
Yep.
I mean, and they couldn't even they really couldn't even play that off because Palpatine. You know, I was just thinking in my head, you know, this could be another form of Palpatine, but they couldn't do it.
Well, it's like Guns N' Roses. It's like, all right, Axel's going to go out there with his new band and call it Guns N' Roses, but then it's like, you know what? We're bringing back Slash and Duff, and we're going to do it for real.
Yeah.
And that's what Palpatine coming back is. It's like, all right, Snoke, thanks for touring with us for 10 years and doing Chinese democracy, but now it's time to bring in the real Guns N' Roses.
You are totally throwing a John.
Very nice, very nice.
Damn it. Well, did you see my tweet last night? Now it's getting into this. Did you see that, John, or no?
No, I wasn't on Twitter last night. I take like Twitter breaks on weekends, so I probably missed some stuff. What did you say?
You're going to die when I say this. On Twitter, you're not even going to hate me now. On Twitter, I said Chinese Democracy is GNR's best album.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and Jerry commented something under it, and he's like, what was the GIF? It was something.
It was
I
a
did
GIF
see
of,
that.
It was a
I
GIF
think
of,
I erased it from my brain
Ron
that you said that.
Swanson.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson just saying, I'm proud of you. And it's not just, I mean, not like a diehard Guns N' Roses fan. I was just kind of like being like, yeah, good for you for like speaking your truth, man. You know?
Yeah. No, you took your shot and you told your truth. Yeah.
Well, it's and not to get on Chinese Democracy, it's a very different album, but it's not GNR.
No,
it's just marketed as GNR, kind of like Snoke is.
Yeah.
We got Snoke over here, and it's not Palpatine,
right?
But it's kind of like Palpatine. It's we're gonna put pass off as Palpatine's
new
imitation.
Coke.
We're gonna play his right.
Eventually, regular classic Coke's coming back.
He's imitation crab meat. You got the real crab meat, and you got the kind of imitation crab meat.
I actually really liked Palpatine. I really like Palpatine. I really enjoyed Snoke, and I loved the character. It was very intriguing. But I also really love what they did with the character, and that they pulled that out, that surprising twist of him.
Yes, they did.
But if you're listening to this podcast, you've probably seen The Last Jedi. But when they offed him in the film, it was just such a crazy, wild, like, oh my god moment.
Yeah.
They did it.
I don't know.
It's great for Kylo Ren's arc as a character, but to imagine this, and we can almost just go home with this one. You've got this guy who's like, I finally killed my master. I'm the biggest person in the galaxy right now. And then to be confronted by one more dude who happened to be his grandfather's master, who happens to be manipulating him, would be just the biggest punch to that character's face.
Yeah.
Which really, and of course I know, John, I know how you stand on this, and I know you stand on this, Jerry, that could be the redemption. It could not be because of Rey. It really could be because of Palpatine playing him as a fool the past 20 years of his life,
Yeah.
And he could just also I'm down. Look, I lean more for redemption right now, but like I said, I always say I'm Chiru Demwe. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see where they take the story. So and no offense to any of the Reylos or anyone out there. That's cool. I think it's really awesome we can all kind of take different things out of this. Mm-hmm. But no matter what happens with Ben, I story. So
that's it, man. It's as simple as it gets. There's a reason why we're not the ones writing these scripts.
And that's that.
So
yeah. True.
Yeah, I think the door was shut for me on Ben-demption, as everyone puts it.
Absolutely.
Before I knew Palpatine was coming back, so I'm like, well, who is he going to take down? He's the guy now. He's the supreme leader.
Great point.
Oh, they're going to introduce a brand new villain in 9. They're not going to do that. And then they're like,
General Smiley.
I love that you're using that. That's awesome.
It's the only way to describe it.
I like Star Wars.
Him dancing in those heels.
But yeah, they're bringing back Palpatine. Once I heard that, I'm like, oh, there's the window's open.
He did it.
There you go. Now you could redeem him. So now I get it. Now it makes more sense.
Totally.
But yeah, whatever they do, I'm not like they better do this or better do that.
Right.
I've been told by a few people who may know a thing or two. They're like, this movie's gonna be loaded with fan service, through the nose fan service.
Nice.
And that it may, they keep using that word satisfying, and that might be because of that aspect of it. I would not be shocked at all if you see Dennis Lawson as Wedge Antilles pop back in this movie. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
Or
I would love that.
Harrison Ford come back and they somehow give you the Luke and Han scene people were pining for this trilogy. You know what?
Okay.
In a flashback.
Can I say one thing about that, John?
Yeah.
there was, okay, I don't know if Jason leaked it, I don't know if y'all leaked it back in the day, but there was one mention of a scene where Leia, Luke, and Han, with a younger boy version of Adam Driver, little kid, meeting on Octo, or meeting somewhere. They did a scene together somewhere, and it was only one day of shooting. Now, JJ would be, if that's the case, and if that is real, JJ, I think this would just be like the greatest fan service of all time if they gave us that.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they digitally did it.
So it was filmed with Carrie Fisher before she died, you're saying?
Yes, it was during The Force Awakens.
That's interesting.
It was a scene that I had read that somewhere. I don't know who dropped it. It was years ago, and it might not even be real. But there was one day apparently where all three of them were together.
That's interesting.
To conclude the whole entire saga, of course, to throw that in there and to throw in Palpatine, it would just be such a. And then, of course, I'm on the bandwagon of Hayden Christensen coming back. That would be so freaking chef's kiss for me. But, it would just be like, now you're playing to my heart. Because I grew up with the prequel. I was a prequel baby,
Yep.
That's what I know. And I don't know if it's
prequel baby has to be a T-shirt now, Scott.
Prequel
that's
baby.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. But y'all, any final thoughts? John, you got anything you want to say just to conclude the whole Palpatine concept and idea?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's coming back. Like I say, you have Ian McDiarmid. He's been vocal about, I'll come back whenever they need me. You use the guy, and they're using him, and that makes me really happy to hear. So however they end up using him, I'll be happy with it because I know they'll handle it well. J.J. Abrams knows how to make good movies. I'm just excited to see how Palpatine affects this new generation of characters, because we saw how he dealt with Luke and tried to lure Luke and that sort of thing. And obviously, in the prequels, that was pretty much his whole arc, is taking over, like we discussed earlier, and his rise and how he took over.
Yeah.
But seeing how he will handle this generation, maybe like seeing like a Poe Dameron seeing Palpatine for the first time, just connecting the generations is gonna just it's gonna like be weird seeing Finn looking and seeing Sheev Palpatine or something. Like, that's connectivity there, man. And we may be seeing that in like 3 months. So that thought of that, like Chewbacca seeing like Palpatine or something, like that sort of stuff, like really blows my mind to think that may happen on screen in 3 months. It may be in a can somewhere right now, waiting for us to see it on screen in 3 months.
I mean, I can't
That
imagine
is so crazy.
being in that editing room, because of course, like most people know, especially with Empire Strikes Back, like literally 3 people knew about the "No, I Am Your Father." 4 people: James Earl Jones, Lucas, I almost said Mark Wand, Kirshner, and Mark Hamill.
Right.
Only people that knew. And like, there might even be a scene like that where people are sitting in that first screening, they're like, what?
Yes.
You're doing that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, there could be.
Right.
I would love that. And, I'm sorry, I'm going off. But any
That's
last
okay,
things you
man.
want to say, Jerry? Any last things?
That's okay. Just don't ever let it happen again. We'll be cool. No. If I don't have any room to talk. But no, I really there's no. I have no words for what we're.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, the best thing about the sequel trilogy that I've loved, and I don't. This is what I try to get across to people, is I've fallen in love with this because it is the first time that I have watched Star Wars and not had a clue where it was going to.
It's awesome.
It's such a magical feeling. Even when I watched the original trilogy for the first time, I mean, I think Empire was the first one I watched, so I got like that about, when your parents back in the day would like spoilers weren't a thing until like the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah, this guy, the bad guy's actually his dad, and all this stuff,
Yeah.
I knew what was going on in the original trilogy, of course. In the prequels, what's going on, but it's so exciting, and it's such a crazy feeling to know that is coming to an end this year, the sequel trilogy, and gosh, such an awesome experience to just speculate about this and to not know what is going to happen. And there is a mind-blowing reveal, I'm probably just going to self-destruct in the theater.
Of course, and like you bring up a good point, Jerry. I mean, look at you, John. Look at how far this sequel trilogy has brought you as a fan and your show.
Yeah.
Same with us. Like, I would have never have gone to a Star Wars convention if it was in New Orleans. I'd go. It's an hour drive for me.
Right.
But anywhere else, I would have not have gone. There would be no point in me going. It'd be just to see Timothy Zahn talk about the same book he wrote freaking 30 years ago.
Correct.
It's just no point. But now we're so...
But some people want that.
I guess people that, at some point we were all suppressed Star Wars fans. We can be honest. I mean, 2010, I just started high school. We don't bring up Star Wars when you've got this, you're doing this thing. But the second on that day in 2012 when those news dropped, something in all of us was like, oh, okay, this would be cool. What are they going to do with this? This whole sequel trilogy has been such a pleasure, and I don't get how people don't like it. It's not what you wanted. That's okay. It's not the OG. That's okay.
Yep.
It's not the prequels. It's its own thing,
Dude,
and if they can...
You can watch the end of Return of the Jedi and close the book, and that could be the end of Star Wars for you.
Yeah.
It can. Totally. And it was for a long time.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a good ending.
And it was great.
Teddy bears dancing, drumming on severed heads. It was great.
Like Matt Martin recently
awesome.
tweeted, he's like, "Look, man, like if you don't like a comic run, like then pretend it doesn't exist." He's like, it's not a big deal. Like, you're gonna be okay. You still have to pay bills, man.
Yeah,
but
there's still.
But I mean,
Scott, you were completely under describing how we all experienced that Lucasfilm announcement of being bought by Disney by saying, "Oh, what are we going to do with this?" It's like the GIF of like who am I thinking of? Jordan Peele. Like sitting there, like sweating,
Yeah.
We're like, what the heck is gonna go on?
Yeah.
That was every single one of us, and you guys know it.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Like Scotty, you said, like being involved with this community and stuff probably wouldn't be happening, at least not on this level. Like I started writing for Star Wars News in March 2017, and 8 months later I'm on the red carpet for the premiere of The Last Jedi, and like I'm still pinching myself. You know what I'm saying? And like
it's insane.
Awesome.
And here I am, like people want to listen to me and listen to you guys talk about Star Wars, and here we are talking to each other about Star Wars. It's friggin' amazing, man.
It's insane, and I don't think of a better way to wrap this episode up, but a big thank you to everyone that's listening right now.
Thank you guys so much for hearing what we say.
We've got 3 months till we're there, and we're gonna be there together, and I just can't wait for the discussion after, because after that we got more Mandalorian, then we got more Kenobi, we're getting Cassian Andor, we're getting Clone Wars in Feb. It's just I'm thankful that we can do this now, because before you know it, we're all going to be sitting in the theater, like, after the movie's done, just sprawled out. Like, I can't believe it's
emotionally
over.
paralyzed. Just
because it's going to be over, and then we're going to have to accept it, And how they end it, apparently, is going to be very... Say it, JJ?
It's going to be satisfying.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Anyway.
One thing I have to say is my last point, because we were talking about like leaks and rumors and people being worried about being spoiled a few months ago. Don't forget, like J.J. Abrams especially is a pretty savvy filmmaker, right? So think about things like, if you watch like the making of Game of Thrones season 8 or whatever, like they would purposely bring actors who weren't involved with scenes to certain locations to throw leakers off and be like, oh, well, that actor's going to be there. They may very well be doing that with Star Wars, and even at Pinewood, and even at these other locations, and they may even sprinkle out fake leaks themselves. To be honest with you, so
that'd be awesome.
Try not to worry too much about that, and take it easy, and everyone. Well, we're all going to be okay. We'll be okay.
There'll still be a world to walk out to when you walk out of the theater.
There will, yes.
It'll be fine.
Yes.
No, guys, I had a realization the other day, like last week or something, where like I think it was when the D23 footage came out. I think I was sitting watching it for like the 50th time, and I went, "This movie's gonna make me cry." Like, I'm going to the only. Like I'm gonna cry harder than I did whenever like I ugly cried next to my wife when Han Solo died, and she looked at me and was like, "Are you okay?" It's like I feel like my cool uncle just got offed.
You know what? And the best thing is, nothing beats that first time. Hopefully, unless someone's disruptive in your theater, but nothing beats that first time and that first reveal. And I can honestly say I'm sure we'll all be in communications again by then, but. Let's pray that we all have just a wonderful first experience and that nothing, no one ruins it and no one yells the spoilers. And I don't think it's going to be the case, but
y'all, puts them on the back of their SUV like that
that was insane.
I don't even know if I believe that's actually real. But
Han dies or whatever it said.
It's like the people who bought the Harry Potter book and drove past the line of people waiting for it and yelled out the ending.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let's end on positive stuff, guys. It's okay. Well, Scotty, if we can't, maybe we can give a little bit of a teaser for what's possibly to come in our future after The Rise of Skywalker comes out.
Please, yeah.
We want to have a roundtable of Star Wars podcasters, YouTubers, and stuff. Kind of have like an after movie discussion. That'll be our podcast, our breakdown of The Rise of Skywalker. We might end up having to do a couple of them, but we'll
did a couple of different
here first. We want to have people on. John, you are more than welcome to join us, but it's going to feel like we're going to IHOP after we watch the movie to just talk about it. All right, I'm talking round table discussion. So book it, guys. Here we go.
You had me for saying book it and for not saying Denny's.
Yeah, we don't do Denny's. We do IHOP. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
Well, in the South we do Waffle House, but that's a whole different story.
I would do Waffle House, especially if Raylo happens. We can get the peanut butter chocolate chip waffle. So.
Yes, and the man cooking your food must be smoking a cigarette while he's cooking. So
and
that's all I gotta say.
I used to joke about that all the time, like and you can't wear gloves. And people are like, "Why do you go to Waffle House? It's so awful." And I was like, "That's why you go. It's part of the experience."
Yeah.
But anyway, John, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, guys. This was a lot of fun, man. Thanks a lot.
Of course. Jerry, do you have anything you need to say to the audience before we leave?
Well, first of all, Scott...
we got a plug.
Well, hold on. Yeah, plug. See, this is the problem we have with our podcast is we never plug anything.
That's how you grow, man.
That's right. But John, first of all, we know we can find you at the Resistance broadcast, dropping every Tuesday and Thursday.
Monday and Thursday.
Monday, Thursday. Sorry, we're Tuesday. Monday. Sorry. Okay. So the Resistance broadcast every and Thursday, guys. Check them out if you're not already. But where can the good people find you on the interwebs, sir?
You can find me opining my thoughts on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and being a more centric point of view on at RBATSWNN and also writing and musing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Hey, Scotty, where can people find you, sir?
You can find me listening to the Resistance broadcast and find me reading Star Wars Newsnet daily. They post some pretty sweet stuff every day.
Thanks,
but no, seriously, you can find me on Twitter, the Scott Jarrow. No, I'm sorry, it's at the Scott Jarrow, and it's going to be the Scotty Jarrow. But
Resistance Transmissions Hall of Famer.
Yes, I am. I'm very proud.
I'm still like sitting in my writer's room, like in my basement, feverishly writing down like weird Kylo Ren quote, like what Kylo Ren would say to like Rose about her toaster or something. Man. I don't know, man. I'm like, I've got like I'm like Charlie Day, like looking like behind me, like going crazy. Yeah. But anyway,
I've always wanted to tell you this, John. Whenever you say I'm a Hall of Famer, I always picture like. People would walk by, like at a baseball museum, just like the glass box, and it's like this has my phone, and it has the tweet, and then it has a photo of me and a statue of what I was wearing that day, and everyone's like, "Well, look at that! That's the damn dude who did it." And then they kept going, and they go to the next person, and it's all Mandalorian remarks. It's never been anything other than that.
Yeah. That's it, man.
But regardless, check me out on Twitter. Check out this podcast at the Bombad Cast. If anything you want to mention or say, email us here, thebombadcast@gmail.com. Or if you ever want to be featured or discuss or say anything on the show, be my guest. We want people all the time. Jerry, where can the wonderful, where can the everyone find the Ewok of Star Wars podcasting at?
Well, you can find me in Bright Tree Village as well as Jerry. Let's see, I'm on Twitter as Canon Junkie at the Canon Junkie. Go find me there for just weird, random thoughts that I have about Star Wars during the day, and sometimes, occasionally, about Stranger Things and other little things that interest me. You can find me there. You can find me on the Bombad Cast. And Scott, if you don't have anything else, there's one more thing that people can do, and what is that?
What can they do? I can say it?
Go ahead.
You're gonna let me do
Go ahead,
it?
buddy. Go ahead. You've earned it.
Oh my God! All right, here we are, folks at home, anyone listening.
It's okay. It's okay, little
shocked.
buddy.
I've never had this opportunity. Stay Bombad. I hope that was good. We did it, guys. We did it.
Congratulations.
Fantastic, John. Thank you so much. Man.
Oh yeah, man. This is
Oh,
fun.
it was awesome.
All Bombad.